Dame looked great in the first half, especially defensively. In the second half, waned a little bit in that regard, but really played Navy at least to a standstill with their offense, only losing by 5 points in the second half. 44-22 victory for number 3 Notre Dame, and as Brian Kelly said, most importantly, they're not going to look too much at the film of the Navy game. They're going to put Navy in the back burner and move on to Northwestern at this point.
Well, we talked all week about how important it was to get a fast start, and they absolutely did that, taking the 27-0 lead at halftime. And they couldn't have possibly played the triple option any better than they did in the first half. 2 first downs for Navy. Impossible, you think, at least based upon all the things we've seen in the past, just 70 yards rushing. And, Navy is going to adjust. There's no doubt about that. Ken Niumatalolo has a lot more experience adjusting at halftime than a guy like Clark Lee, so there was some give. But as you said, Tim, the second half it was 22-17 scoring-wise, and there's a little bit of game pressure in the third quarter. When they pull within 2 scores, right, there's a little bit of game pressure. They went for 2. I don't really know why they did that, but they converted it. But when Notre Dame had to, they ended up shutting it down. 586 yards total offense, 330 yards passing for Ian Book. We said it would be 300 to 400, and it was in there. Once again, 27 for 33 throwing the football. Really outstanding. He did have the pick, and the running game ended up getting over 200 yards. So not perfect over 60 minutes, but perfect in the first 30, which is all basically that they needed to do.
Yeah, as you mentioned, those first 30, when you're that good and take a 27-0 lead, it does weigh a lot more heavily than what happens in the second half. Now, what matters a lot from the first half and could matter going forward, Drew Tranquil, injured early in the game, apparently out of his boot. X-rays negative. That's the best news possible for Notre Dame fans in the squad. Brian Kelly has not ruled him out for Northwestern. That would be amazing from what we saw, but as he said, he's Drew Tranquil.
Yeah, he is, and there's a good chance he'll bounce back. However, Drew White came in, and if Tranquil can't play next week, it won't be Drew White that's on the field, but right. Drew White obviously has some experience with the triple option, and he did a really, really nice job. Speaking of guys coming in and filling in for people, Jonathan Dorr got off to a bad start, no place to go but up after that, with Justin Yoon trying to recover from a groin injury. He missed that first extra point, but he got better after that. Give the kid a lot of credit. Ended up kicking a 30-yard field goal. You don't want to move forward with Jonathan Dorr as your kicker. That's why you have Justin Yoon for all 4 years. But he did a nice job and did what they needed to do. It wasn't going to be a field goal game, as Brian Kelly said. Fortunately, it was a touchdown game for Notre Dame.
Ian Book had all the answers when they needed them in the second half. The first half and the game ball belonged to Dexter Williams, 3 rushing touchdowns, but it wasn't even his running that Brian Kelly wanted to compliment most after the game.
Yeah, Brian Kelly said he got the game ball for his blocking. Blitz pickup, I think a couple times I said great block by Williams as the play was unfolding. I thought Aaron Banks was active and aggressive. Brian Kelly said that they still need to be able to really exert their will. Over the last month, they got to be able to run the football when the opponent knows they're going to run that. That's something that we've always said. He hasn't always said that, but he did today. So that's good. They need to keep moving forward with that. I thought Banks played well. I thought Rulin was aggressive. I think that that's the right mix. Tommy Kramer ended up playing down the stretch, but I think that's the right mix as you move forward.
Jafar Armstrong back for the first time since Dexter Williams has returned. I think he gave Notre Dame more overall than I would have expected, considering that he was laid up in the hospital, and we really weren't sure what they were going to get other than address Jafar Armstrong. Brian Kelly kind of addressed, hey, as a pass receiver, we know what you have. He's a weapon. He's got to grow a little bit as a running back, but now they have options going forward in November with those two as really the focal point of the offense.
That's something we talked about all month, that how important it was for him to come back to be the complement to Dexter Williams. Dexter Williams is the better runner. We know that. And clearly Jafar Armstrong's the better receiver. So you put those two together, get a pretty nice combination.
We're done from San Diego, 44-22 Notre Dame. It's a bit of a one-off with Navy, and now Notre Dame looks to reverse their recent trends in November, entering the month at number 3 most likely, where the college football playoff poll comes out on Tuesday.